Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we're here for a poetry discussion, which will take place in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one, obviously being the poetry discussion playlist, but number two, the Charles Bukowski playlist. I don't know why I froze up on that this time, but there is a playlist on the channel of Charles Bukowski poems nearing 100 videos long. The poetry discussion playlist is nearing 300 videos long. The poem for today: the meek shall inherit the earth. If I suffer at this typewriter, think how I'd feel among the lettuce pickers of Salinas. I think of the men I've known in factories with no way to get out, choking while living, choking while laughing at Bob Hope or Lucille Ball, while 2 or 3 children beat tennis balls against the wall. Some suicides are never recorded. So the sort of concession here is that some suicides are never recorded because some suicides are never really happening. Some suicides. So what is suicide? Suicide is the choice to die. The choice to die does not have to come with death, at least so far as Bukowski is concerned. To Bukowski, authenticity of the individual is supreme. That being supreme, if a person is stripped of their authenticity as an individual, the person is dead. The person is no more. That happening here to the people Bukowski is speaking about through their choice or not choice of work, through the fact that their work is dictated to them, I think. The men in the lettuce pickers in Salinas, the men working in factories. So everyone's job will come with some type of detriment. Obviously, right? I mean, you don't get to, unless you are an ultra high performer, an ultra high earner, and very few of us are. That's why they are the 1%. Your job will come with some type of disadvantage. For Bukowski, this disadvantage is what makes the living inauthentic. So the people who are working in the factories just to go home to their wife and kids, these people are inauthentic to the individual. These people have not lived the life they would have chosen. But even for Bukowski or Chinaski, whoever you decide our speaker is here, our speaker here has problems of his own. As I have often said, that Bukowski really has to be read like a novel rather than poetry. That is, you cannot pick up one Bukowski poem and really have some greater sense of what is going on there. I think that Bukowski is best to be read in volume. Bukowski's a drunk. Bukowski's an addict. Bukowski's interpersonal relationships suffer. But these things, these weaknesses which are allowed by his living as an artist are authentic to who Bukowski considers himself to be. These are things which he is able to sort of accept onto himself as really him. He struggles with them. He suffers from them, but they are him. If he lived in or worked in this factory, much like the way that he worked in a post office, that alcoholism loses you your job. What much of this poem is conceding is that because I am able to do this thing called writing, I don't really have to be in the factory. I don't really have to pick the lettuce. But It's strange because Bukowski was someone who came to poetry later in life and was successful with poetry later in life. So he did have myriad jobs. He was someone who lost a lot of jobs. He was someone who was unable to keep that authenticity at times and having to change who he considered the self to be was what got him fired from those jobs. He was not able to do it. So he is saying in this poem that's being able to change those things, having to change those things, conceding those things about the self means you've cashed it in. You've quit. You have passed. You're dead. Pardon me. You're dead. It's gone. Same thing. You chose the life path that you're on. You chose the path of inauthenticity. You have chosen to die. And the strange thing is, maybe the strangest thing about this poem is, Bukowski is someone who held Hemingway in high regard, rued the suicide of Hemingway, but claimed to understand it. If suicide is a preemptive end to one's life, you always have to kind of say that that preemptive end came early, definitionally. We have Bukowski lasting into old age. We have here in this poem the idea that these men who have conceded who have given up their lives are living past that date. It's a strange idea that there is so much of existence. So the existentialists say that you wake up every morning and you have one choice, and that is, are you going to do it? Yeah, that's where everything comes from. You wake up in the morning, you going to do it? You going to get on with your day? Or are you going to not? Because you don't have to. We could stop right now. You could find your way off of that merry-go-round, the merry-go-round of life. You go ahead and do that. That's what the existentialists say. But how long has that been the case with humans? I mean, really. Pills and guns can do it. Rope, you can do it. Even rope. Not all people at all times had access to something like rope. So there was a point in human evolution. You didn't have a whole lot of choice. You had to get up, you had to go about it. And it is incredible the amount of punishment the human body can take. There is evidence from fossils that had been missing teeth in very ancient times, meaning that likely on these high protein, high animal diets these people were living, someone else, so this would have been an older person who could not chew their food. Likely someone else was traveling with that older person and chewing the food for them. ABC food, already been chewed. So it's possible to really take a lot of punishment and keep going. What Bukowski is sort of saying in this poem is that there's a lot of people who choose to be inauthentic to themselves, which is in essence suicide, but they keep going and keep taking punishment. Bukowski says I couldn't do that. Maybe the fact that I have accepted willingly, all of the punishment that I have taken allows me to take this punishment because I think I am too weak to take involuntary punishment. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. If you enjoy what I do here, it really does help me out if you decide to hit that like button. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel. Dropping multiple videos a week, and there's poetry every Monday. So consider hitting the subscribe button, stick around for more, because I'd love to have you back for the next one.